Yes. This is what our fresh water is going to look like in a couple of years. Why? Because of AI. Like, did you know?
The water on Earth has been around for roughly 4 billion years. It doesn't get used up, it just keeps getting recycled over and over again. The water you're drinking today may have wasn't part of the effort to start the Titanic. But it's some kind of somebody's toilet. So how does that happen? It's hard with the wastewater.
Screw your misconceptions of millennials and avocado toast. How about you try living next to AI chemicals? All the world needs is a little more love. We're all here for that reason, so stop killing us. If you thought global warming sounded bad, wait until you hear this. We're slowly killing ourselves instead of just the fish. Goodbye to your faces and the human race. 'Cause pedophilia's more accessible and they're not a disgrace. Screw your AI girlfriends and your loneliness. I hope all you need is someone's warm embrace. I hope someone will one day give it to you. 'Cause AI love will never be true. AI love will never be true. The last thing you can do is love yourself. Love yourself too.
People all over the US are raising the alarm about the impacts that these data centers could have on their health, their homes, and their livelihoods. Evan Simon has been investigating data centers around the US. He's already found that some AI data centers are brazenly defying environmental laws, and regulators are doing little to stop it.
There's really a transparency issue around the AI industry right now. It feels like a really important time for us to really pay close attention to these things.
We're teaming up today to take you up above for a different perspective on this science story, using a drone fitted with a thermal camera to investigate what's really happening at one of the world's largest data centers, and how it's impacting the people who live in its backyard.
There are a lot of people that have not seen what we hope to show through the drone footage, especially the thermal drone footage.
Is this even legal?
All right, so this looks like any other drone.
Regardless of how you feel about AI itself or the way that it's being rolled out, one thing is inescapable. Despite tech companies making promises about renewable energy and sustainable technology, much of this massive AI expansion is still being powered by fossil fuels. Your AI query likely pings a data center like this, full of millions of power-hungry processing chips running the chatbots, agents, and other tools that millions of people interact with every day. But to power those operations, data centers around the country are increasingly relying on their own custom-built gas power plants. The Stargate data center already has 62 diesel generators and 10 gas-powered turbines on site, with plans for 41 more. This will make it one of the largest fossil fuel power plants of any kind in Texas, and it's just to power this data center. Why is it so important that we keep an eye on this growing industry?
There's a lot of secrecy surrounding these sites. Public officials are signing NDAs, companies are using proprietary information shields, and state and federal regulators don't seem like they're able to keep up. Like, it's really important at our newsroom to monitor what seems like a fairly lightly regulated industry, especially as it grows at such a rapid clip.
New facilities like this are being built largely to meet demand for generative AI tools like chatbots. OpenAI reported that global use of chatbots more than doubled in the last year, going from 400 to 900 million users.
Growth is the number one concern for all of these data centers. They are trying to beat everybody else in being the first to really harness the profitability around AI, and for them, that really means essentially getting as much power as fast as they can.
Big tech companies are projected to spend more than $800 billion on the infrastructure behind artificial intelligence in 2026. And in 2027, that number will exceed $1 trillion. That's on par with the entire US defense budget. The day we filmed, Stargate was only operating one of the 10 turbines that it has on site, but it eventually plans to have more than 50 of these turbines powering its operations here, something OG was unaware of until we informed her.
I didn't know about their expansion plan and what that looks like for our home. If we're already dealing with the noise difficulty with only 10 turbines that they have right now, I can only imagine how much more difficult it's going to be like. I feel trapped. You know, we invest in our home, we serve our country, and we weren't even included in this process. We weren't given any time to understand what this impact was going to be on us. The long-term ramifications, we weren't given time to try to leave. So how do I feel? Upset.
It's absolutely shocking to see that invisible pollution made visible like this. This is incredible. So how can you tell if a facility like this is following the law?
Well, we're going to take these images to a series of experts to really make sure that we understand what we're looking at, but you'd be surprised what I've found in the past.
Evan's investigation previously took him to South Haven, Mississippi, another community being impacted by a giant new hyperscale AI data center. xAI's Colossus, which helps power their chatbot, Grok.
In this drive for speed, this race for AI dominance, Elon Musk and xAI parked these massive turbines on tractor trailers to power their operations. They then argued that these were temporary power sources and therefore did not require state or federal permits to operate. That is really out of step with long-standing EPA policy that turbines like these, which are major pollution sources, require permits regardless of whether or not they're considered temporary or not.
We genuinely just don't understand how they're still allowed to run their turbines right now. There's people in the very neighborhood that we're standing next to right now that probably still have no idea just because it's been kept so quiet.
Even people that are living really, really close to it never really got a good sense of what was there in their backyard.
I did not discover that the power plant was going to be built until it was actually here. There wasn't a public meeting or anything like that. It was just kind of here all of a sudden, which was a big shock and a big surprise.
I was really fortunate to speak with a resident who has a home directly across the street from the South Haven gas plant, a woman named Crystal Polk, and she agreed to let me fly the drone from her property. As soon as the drone rose above the tree line, I could see that a number of these turbines were emitting very, very strong heat signatures, at least a dozen. And it seemed to me very obviously that these turbines were operating.
Having turbines running so close to my home that are unpermitted is a very deep concern. I am severe asthmatic as well as some of my children. I am very concerned about what is going to be in the air and how it's going to affect my health. We were going to retire here, but now we have emptied the house of all furniture because of the pollution. I think I shed a few tears because it's been my forever. It's where I grew up.
The bring your own power plant strategy seen at Colossus was once an outlier in the industry. But this strategy has gone mainstream, and nowhere is that more apparent than in Texas. There are roughly 300 data centers here in Texas, with at least 100 currently under construction, with an additional 100 more planned. And the vast majority are powered by fossil fuels. Texas has around 80 gigawatts of natural gas power under construction, and roughly half of those plants will provide power exclusively to data centers.